If you watch this channel, you know I love a good multi-card setup, squeezing out every point from every category. But honestly, that's not for everyone. Some people just want one card they can put in their wallet and forget about it. One card that earns great rewards without having to think about which card goes where every time they check out. So in this video, I want to run through the best single card options depending on who you are and what you care about. No unnecessary complexity, just one card that makes the most sense for you. Before we get into the cards, I want to quickly explain what I'm looking for when I call something a great one card setup. You need a few things. Broad category coverage, so you're not leaving points on the table on most of your purchases, credits or perks that are actually easy to use, and either a great flat rate earning multiplier or bonus categories wide enough that one card can carry the whole load. And one more thing, 4 of the 5 cards I'm covering today are travel oriented because if you're going to put everything on one card, the best bang for your buck is almost always in the travel reward space. But the one exception is a card that's disrupting the cashback game in a big way. And let's start with that outlier, the Robinhood Gold card. This card is genuinely one of the most disruptive things to happen in the credit card space in a while. The headline is pretty simple. You earn 3% cash back on every single purchase with no rotating categories, no spending caps, and no annual fee on the card itself. For context, the gold standard for flat rate cashback cards has historically been 2% with cards like the Citi Double Cash or the Wells Fargo Active Cash. The Robinhood Gold card blew past that ceiling on $20,000 of annual spend. That extra 1% over a 2% card is an extra $200 in your pocket, and that gap compounds as you spend more. The cashback also goes directly into your Robinhood brokerage account, so if you're already investing there, your spending is literally going to work for you. You can invest it, hold it as cash, or transfer it out, and it's all up to your call. Now, I do want to be upfront about the caveats with this card because I think transparency matters here. First, you need a Robinhood Gold membership to get this card, which costs $50 a year. And that's not a card annual fee, but it is a cost that you should consider. The math still works heavily in your favor if you're spending a reasonable amount on it. With just $5,000 in spending per year, you're already well ahead, but it's worth knowing up front. Second, there's no traditional welcome bonus on this card, which is a meaningful miss compared to the competition. And third, as of right now, this card is still on a waitlist system, though that list has been moving faster. But if you're already in the Robinhood ecosystem or you just want the absolute best flat rate cashback card with zero complexity, this is the one. Moving into the travel territory, the Capital One Venture X is my pick for the best one card setup in the premium travel space. And honestly, it's the card I personally use as my catch-all. The reason it works so well as a single card is that the earning structure is built for simplicity. You get 2x miles on every purchase, no matter what. That's your floor. And then on top of that, you get 5x on flights and 10x on hotels and rental cars booked through the Capital One travel portal. But the real story here is the value math on the annual fee. The card costs $395 a year, and on paper that sounds steep until you look at those credits. You get a $300 annual travel credit that applies to bookings in the Capital One travel portal, and you get 10,000 anniversary miles every year starting at your first anniversary, which at a minimum is worth $100 if you use them for travel. Just those two things alone get you to $400 in value on a $395 card. Capital One is literally paying you to keep it. And then on top of that, you get $120 in global entry or TSA PreCheck credit every 4 years, lounge access through both Capital One's own lounges and a Priority Pass membership, Hertz President's Circle status, and primary auto rental collision damage waiver, which means you can say no to the rental company's collision insurance and save that money every time you rent a car. The transfer partners with Capital One are solid too. You've got airlines like Air Canada Aeroplan, Avianca Life Miles, and more, which are all fantastic programs for getting outsized value out of your miles. At an average of around 2 cents per mile using transfer partners, those 2x miles on everything are delivering a lot more value than they look like on the surface. If you want one premium travel credit card and you don't want to juggle a complicated credit system to justify it, this is the one. Now, here's one that I think is genuinely underrated in the one card conversation, and that's the Citi Strata Premier. This card earns 3x thank you points on groceries, restaurants, gas, EV charging, air travel, and hotels, all booked directly. Think about that list for a second. Groceries, dining, gas, flights, hotels, that's probably 80% of where people spend money outside of rent. And this one card covers all of it at 3x points per dollar. For comparison, the Chase Sapphire Preferred earns 3x on dining and 2x on travel. The Venture X earns 2x on everything. So the Strata Premier is earning 3x on categories that most cards only give you 1 to 2x back on. The breadth here is unmatched in the one card space. The annual fee with this one is $95, which is very reasonable given what you're getting. And Citi thank you points have gotten significantly more valuable recently, especially after Citi added American Airlines as a transfer partner, which is huge if you're flying domestic. You can also transfer to I Prefer hotels at a 1-to-4 ratio, which can unlock some solid redemption options. And the fee gets even easier to justify once you factor in the built-in credits. You get a $100 annual hotel credit once per calendar year, and you can knock $100 off a single hotel stay of $500 or more when you book through Citi Travel. Use that once and you've already covered essentially the entire annual fee before you've earned a single point. Now, I will admit that the minimum of a $500 is a bit annoying, and maybe that makes it so you don't value it at all, but I still think the spending multipliers and transfer partners justify this card even at the $95 a year amount. All right, this next one is targeted at a specific type of person, but if you're that person, this card is arguably the most powerful one-card setup available. Bilt cards are built around a unique feature that no other cards offer: earning points on rent and mortgages. And the best one here is the Bilt Palladium. Housing almost always is the largest expense in someone's budget, and for most of credit card history, you've been earning exactly 0 points on it. The Bilt card changed that, and you can pay your rent or mortgage with the Bilt card, even if your landlord doesn't normally accept credit cards, and earn points on every dollar you spend. Now, here's where the math gets interesting, because that's actually a choice you need to make with this card. Bilt gives you 2 earning modes: standard Bilt points or Bilt cash. And this decision matters. In standard mode, the card earns 1x points on rent, 3x on dining, 2x on travel, and 1x on everything else. If you opt into Bilt Cash, which earns 4% on everyday non-rent spending, and then use that Bilt Cash balance to pay your rent, the effective math works out to earning 3.33 points per dollar on all of your everyday spending. Let me say that again, 3.33x on everything. That's because every dollar of Bilt Cash you earn on everyday purchases is worth 1.33 Bilt points when applied towards rent, since rent payments convert at a higher rate. If you're confused on which is best for you, I'll link a calculator down below where you can put in your monthly spend, and it will tell you for you which is better based on your spending habits. So if you're a renter or homeowner with a high payment and you're putting meaningful everyday spend on this card, the Bilt Palladium can deliver a rate that beats almost anything else on a flat rate basis. And Bilt points themselves are widely considered one of the best points currencies available. You can transfer to Hyatt and Atmos Rewards, 2 of the best partners of any issuer. The card does carry a big $495 annual fee, but it comes with a package of credits and benefits designed to offset it. The key question is whether you're spending enough on rent and everyday purchases for the math to hold up. For renters in high cost of living cities, spending $2,000 a month or more on rent, this is a very different conversation than for someone with a modest housing cost. Do that math for your own situation, but if the numbers work, this card is generally hard to beat as a one-card setup. And finally, the card that probably belongs in every conversation about credit cards for the foreseeable future, the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Chase just gave this card its biggest refresh in years just last month, so if you've written it off before, it's worth a second look. I've already got a full video breaking down every detail of that update, linked above, so I'll just hit the highlights here. The earning structure still covers a lot of ground. 3x on dining, 3x on online groceries, 3x on streaming, plus 2 new categories added in the refresh, 3x on gas and EV charging, and 3x on vacation rentals like Airbnb and Vrbo. And then it also earns 2x back on all other travel. The $95 annual fee hasn't changed. The credits got a real boost too. The hotel credit through Chase Travel doubled to $100 as a single lump sum, and there's now a $120 credit every 4 years for Global Entry, TSA PreCheck, or Nexus. Combine that with the current welcome bonus of 100,000 points after spending $5,000 in the first 3 months, tied for the biggest offer this card has ever had, and it's an easy card to justify right now, even with the $95 annual fee. So if you're newer to the points world and you want one card that earns solid rewards, has great transfer partners, and gives you room to grow, the Chase Sapphire Preferred is your answer. So to wrap it up, the right one-card setup is one that matches how you actually spend and what you actually care about. Pick the one that fits your life and your spending and go with it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and consider checking out this video over here.